Let's
in
talk about buttered
1987.
sausage. Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does, why is it doing what it's doing. Get it out of my face. What about
Buttered?
buttered sausage?
Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. I am Pitt.
I'm Eli. How's it going, y'all? I hope everybody had a good holiday. As you can see, we did take a little bit of a break. I went down to Tennessee for about a week, and then, we had Christmas, but he also had work, and, scheduling just wasn't in our favor.
I was committed. I was actually in an asylum for a while, just because,
All right.
We didn't take a break off because he went to Tennessee. We went because I was committed to, the loony bin. So
It's a grippy sock vacation.
padded walls. It was great. No, we had to take break off, family, traveling, holidays, and plus we wanted to give you guys a break from us. That way, when you came back, you got the full Monty, so to speak.
But one thing I would do if I ever did actually get committed, I have to do the Cheech and Chong bit. When he's in there and he's got the straight jacket. Help! My balls itch.
I just want to sit there and be like, Dave's not here, man.
Right, yeah.
This is there. Oh, there we go. So much better. I'm not blinded.
And for those of y'all who don't know this, I actually keep forgetting that that's his name because I've known him as Pitt since for fucking ever. So when he said Dave's not here, like it took a half second for that to click. I'm like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. Dave's not here, man. All right, so let's just jump right into the catastrophe since we are coming out of a catastrophe of a fucking year from 2024. Let's find out what 2025 has in store for us. So, our very first one. What is the craziest thing on your bucket list?
That's a good question. I actually don't really keep that much of one. Just I've mentioned before that I would like to travel. I know like one of our first episodes we talked about where you'd want to travel to. I still see Coliseum. It's fucking crumbling as we speak, and I would like to see it while there's anything left. That's going to be my answer because I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I actually don't create bucket lists. I got I want to do list. I don't consider them the same thing because bucket list is what you're supposed to do before you kick the bucket.
Yeah.
There's just shit I want to do. And, a lot of it is not suitable for work. So.
Fair.
But I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go with traveling as well. That would be nice. I'd like to see, the actual Northern Lights, not from Ohio, but from actually, closer to the pole. I don't know. Bucket list. We're going to go with everything that's on the not suitable for work list.
Actually, you know what though? You mentioning Northern Lights. I don't think I would want to be up there for the whole time, but I would kind of like to experience like how Alaska, like one or two of their cities has like a cold ass month that they do not get sunlight. That would be a cool thing to experience.
Yeah, I think there's also there's a city in I believe Iceland that has like no daylight whatsoever, or in the summer they have like no darkness like at all. So I saw pictures and I can't remember exactly where it was at, but it was pretty sweet.
I wonder if if they did one in Iceland, or if they have a city like that in Iceland. I wonder if they use that for the sequel because. Most of you have probably heard the movie 30 Days a Night, and that is they went to an Alaska town where that legitimately does happen. I know they did a sequel, but I never watched the sequel, and I wonder if they went to that city in Iceland for it.
Maybe. I would have gone anyway, even if it wasn't filming a movie. All right. Next catastrophe. If you could only watch one show for the rest of your life, what show would you watch?
Shit. That's real.
Yeah, getting you with the hard questions this time.
Honestly, one honorable mention. I'm not going to do this. I saw somebody talk about like, oh, if you went to an island and you only had like 5 shows or whatever, somebody mentioned wrestling. And the reason they said this technically it is a weekly episodic thing that has been happening. Like WWE Raw has been on since like 91 or some shit, like every single week. So there, not all the programming has been good. I'm not saying that, but it would be something you could just watch without having to consume the same content over and over. That's not my answer, but it's an honorable mention. Honestly, I might say The Simpsons.
Ugh.
The reason I'm saying that partly is because
show ever.
Part of the reason I'm saying that it would be really interesting to go back and see older episodes because of the shit that they somehow accurately predicted. I'm half convinced at this point that Matt Groening is a goddamn time traveler.
Yeah, you and all the other conspiracy theorists out there on that one.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's a little eerie on how accurate they are in, depicting certain events that haven't taken place yet, and when they do, it's like, hey, wait a minute. But yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. I don't know, but if I'm gonna do a show, can I take the entire catalog of Star Trek? Are we allowed to do that, or does it have to be one of the Star Treks?
If you're able to combine it all into a single thing, that would actually be a lot of content.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying the entire catalog of Star Trek. But if not, I'm going to rewatch. Let's see. At my age, I've only got about 20 years left, so let's just do NCSI because there's like 20 seasons of that shit. Or SNL. I mean, there's 50 seasons of that. I can just do SNL.
SNL's not a bad choice. And honestly, I think that maybe not this season because they lost a few really good cast members, but some of the last few seasons have been really good. I still don't completely forgive them for the sketch they did a few years ago where, did you ever see The Rock Obama?
Yeah.
That could have been so fucking good. For anybody watching who doesn't remember this, watching or listening, since we have our audio platforms, basically Biden was playing an agitator and he wanted Obama to get mad. When he finally got mad, he hulks out into The Rock. On paper, this is a fucking gold premise. But then he sits there and he's still acting like Obama with a more limited vocabulary. Like he told someone to go jump out of the window. And then he's talking to, actual Congress people at the time. Half of them are probably gone by now. I don't remember who they were. Back then I didn't
be gone by now.
I'll 100% agree with that. Which reminds me about one, we'll come back to that. But like there was one, he picked her up and carried her and just dumped her out the window. And I'm like, dude, why? And he had the ripped up clothes and everything, just like the Hulk. Like, it could have been so fucking good. And honestly, The Rock could be really funny when he wants to be. These days, not as much. And without getting too far off topic, I actually watched Red One when we were in Tennessee. Yeah. It was more just something to kind of fill the space. I really wasn't even that excited for it. I was actually more interested for Chris Evans than I was for The Rock. And it's mostly because I'm truthfully getting exhausted of The Rock. I really am.
I just wanted to see J.K. Simmons' guns, man.
This is one of the first roles I've ever seen J.K. Simmons where he wasn't a fucking asshole.
I mean, I see pictures of him, stuff like that. It's like, there's no way. And,
I remember seeing pictures of that, yeah.
And then they actually had him with, the sleeveless shirt. There's no way to, and it's like, holy shit. I'm wondering exactly how much of that weight was real when he was, lifting in Red One. It's like,
that's a good question. I mean, it couldn't have been that real because remember when The Rock was spotting him at one point, he just casually picks it up and puts it back on the bar.
That's true.
Is I remember like when he was spotting J.K. Simmons, like The Rock just picks up the bar with one arm. Rock is strong as fuck. He's in phenomenal shape. He ain't that fucking strong to where he's just holding him with one arm.
maybe 125 pounds.
I can see that.
So, all right, next one. What was your weirdest date?
I mean, I didn't have a traditional dating life, so I can't really say that. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna go with some. It wasn't a date per se, but so one time we were out. This was actually John Professor, like his birthday. We went up to Scene 75. And this is back when I was still talking to Stasha. You'll remember her.
Oh, God.
And we were still getting along back then, but like it was kind of weird because like I'm in public and trying to behave, but we were also still like kind of flirty at the time. And then afterwards, she messages me that it was cold as shit. I remember that. She almost wanted to come out to the car with me, and which I'm like, why the fuck didn't you say something? I just would have pulled around.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess it was a little bit awkward just because of, what came afterwards or didn't. But we didn't have that much of an actual dating life. Like me and my wife met in high school. So like we didn't have traditional dates like that.
I don't know. Yeah, because I didn't have a traditional dating life either. I mean, either it was majority of the time it was, pick up and hook up, type thing. So, usually no dates were involved. I don't know. Weirdest date. There's a time at MVSB count where I went with somebody else and ended up hooking up with that guy's wife.
I didn't hear about this one.
Oh yeah, well, we won't go into that. We won't name names, but yeah, I went out with somebody, went to dinner and stuff like that. Then we went to MVSB to meet everybody, and then she kind of got flaky because her friend was like, telling her not to do this, not to do that. So she went for a fucking 4-hour car ride, left me there by my fucking self. Jesus. So yeah, so I ended up hooking up with some guy's wife in the parking lot at MVSB.
The only other one, no, actually, you corrected me on this. It wasn't MVSB, but not getting into this right now. But what was it, Josh with Kilt? And that was got kicked out.
that was McGillis Slutties.
Okay, I just heard the story. I was
I was there. I was there for that one too. I was probably sitting about a good 20 yards away from everybody when it was taking place.
I was partially surprised when I heard about it happening. Now, the one person who was involved, I wasn't surprised that she did it because honestly, and you probably know.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
The other one who was involved, I was a little bit surprised just because she didn't seem that she wasn't openly like that. So I was a little surprised at that.
Yeah. So, but to go on a normal person's weird dates, I'd say fucking Waffle House at random because somebody was bored. So.
Sorry.
Does Kaz say sorry?
Yeah. All right, and our last catastrophe. Best prank you have ever pulled.
I haven't done a whole lot of them, but there was one in particular that sticks out in my head. I might have told you this story. I'm not sure. But so this is back when I was working in the kitchen. I was a prep cook. And buddy of mine, he had a BlackBerry. So that tells y'all how long ago this was. And this is back when Bluetooth earbuds or earpieces were like more popular. And he had the one that kind of comes out from your ear. And he didn't lock his phone. I don't know why he didn't. But so he went into the walk-in freezer. I picked up his phone and I called a fucking sex hotline number. And I tried my fucking hardest to have a straight face when he came out. There's nobody else who would have done it. So it was, of course it was fucking me, but I was going to try to play it off like it wasn't me. But the look on his face, he just came out, that better not cost me money. I just fucking lost it.
Yeah.
and I know exactly what happened because it's a hotline. It doesn't ring. It just goes straight into their IVR. So I know he's in the walk-in freezer, probably putting shit away or something, and then just, hey, big boy. I know he was like, the fuck?
So I'm pretty sure I've told this one on here before, so I'm going to go with a different one. I'm pretty sure I told about when I was a radio DJ and I put X-Lax in the coffee and stuff like that. So
I think you
and
did.
Then, and then sell it and then cellophane the toilets. But no, so I don't know. Like for some reason, when my dad first got an answering machine, and God. Yeah, so I decided that it would be fun to put up some kind of weird message. And it kind of went a little something like this. Hello. Hello. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Can you speak up? No, I still can't hear you. Can you speak up, please? Look, I don't know what you're saying. Can you please speak up? For the love of God, will you just speak up and tell me what you have to say? Why are you yelling at me? I can hear you just fine. By the way, you got the answering machine.
So you were way ahead of the curve on that one then.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was probably about the other good prank I've done because most of my pranks have always gone sour. So I'm not a good prankster because I'm one of those people that sit back and is like,
exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the fuck I did. If I really, really wanted to sit and think about it, maybe I could think of something else that I did. But that was one of my favorite ones because I just fucking busted out laughing. Like, I tried to play it cool and it just didn't work.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was our catastrophe to start off 2025. Now, I don't know if you saw, but right before the holidays, Paramount went and decanonized Star Trek Discovery.
Wait. Isn't that the one with the one chick from The Walking Dead? Like she left The Walking Dead to go do
Sonequa Martin.
Fuck? Yeah.
So it has been decanonized, and it was decanonized in an episode of Lower Decks, the series finale. So basically, all of Star Trek Discovery happened in an alternate universe. And this is where it gets even more fucking interesting because the spin-off show from Star Trek Discovery, Strange New Worlds, with Anson Mount playing Christopher Pike and Ethan Peck and, Rebecca Romijn. Great show. Probably one of the best Star Trek shows out there. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go watch it, particularly the musical episode. Or the Star Trek Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds crossover. Best show probably in this series. However, that is still being considered canon. Just Anson Mount's time as Christopher Pike aboard Discovery is not going to be considered canon. So they're going on this whole fuck you Disney Marvel bullshit against Sony for creating this whole alternate realities type thing, almost like a multiverse aspect. We already knew the mirror universe existed. It's canon in Star Trek. But now all of a sudden we have multiple, realities and multiverse within the Star Trek franchise. And I'm guessing this can play out because technically, if you want to go by the timeline, because Picard, if you don't count the last 3 seasons of Discovery, the Picard standalone, I think, ended 2409, something like that.
So sometimes the multiverse thing works because you get to tell a lot of different stories. Marvel is currently doing that right now with how they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. And I'm intrigued. I'm not necessarily sold, but I'm intrigued. But I think we're going a little too fucking far in doing the multiverse thing. And with Star Trek in particular, I don't like this because I remember the way that they introduced the Chris Pine movies was with Spock Prime, Leonard Nimoy, how he just kind of came. Now, back then, it was he traveled back in time. But now, if we're opening the door to the multiverse, then that begs the question that Spock probably didn't time travel. He probably just fucking sidestepped into another universe.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm assuming that conversation probably hasn't come up yet, but I guarantee it's coming. And I don't like it. It convolutes things unnecessarily.
Yeah. I mean, you could have easily, you know, altered it with, you know, Discovery and stuff like that. Yes. You could have left it canon. But the thing is a lot of things as people were getting on about the, you know, the new look of the Klingons, which happened because of the Abrams films, you know, so they updated. Here's the thing. I actually enjoyed the new look of the Klingons. I thought they looked even more sinister and villainous than, you know, how they always were. So my thing is like, you know what? It's something that's easily explained because we know that in the timeline, in canon timeline, the Klingons messed with human DNA, trying to alter their physique and look to enter into, you know, Starfleet, to infiltrate them, you know, so they started messing with, you know, the genes of augmented humans like Khan and stuff like that. So they tried this, and yeah, they were the augmented humans and stuff like that, the enhanced, you know, like Noonien, Khan, Noonien Soong, you know, the most, you know, famous one out of all of them. But yeah, right there. So it was easily okay. So let's say that I believe that is Tecumseh right there on the right of the screen. So let's say that's what Klingons are supposed to look like. You introduce the altered DNA to the point of where we now get this little section here, like where we have Worf down here, where it's more of the cranial ridges and more of a lower human facial features. And then if we go to, I believe that is Core right there in the center, where he's just got the Fu Manchu from the original series. So we can actually explain that as you go through timeline, that the Klingon DNA was almost completely erased, at least the physical aspects of it, because of the altering of, you know, the genetics. And then when that ceased, Klingons eventually came back to where we see Worf and, you know, everything like that, to eventually through, you know, mating and breeding and stuff like that and repopulation, would eventually get back to their original look. Easy way to explain that off. Easy way.
Honestly, I like this new look. This is badass.
Right?
And like this one, isn't this the same
That's
one
the
where
original
like
series. Yeah.
Isn't this the one where like fucking Christopher Lloyd basically black-faced?
Yes, with a slight variation of the Klingon redesign that had happened because of Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. All right, okay. No, you know what? No, I'm good with this. This is fucking dope.
Yeah.
And I like the armor and everything.
Right. And it's something that's easily explained through story. You know, you can create an easy storyline to take care of that, and boom, done. And everybody can shut up.
And yeah, I guess the real world explanation. I don't know why that word was eluding me. I guess the real world explanation would just be, you know, they didn't have the best makeup and prosthetics and shit in the original run. Yeah. So as they had access to better equipment, you know, they would edit the look and everything a little bit better. One thing I will say that I do kind of like, I don't know if this is still just a theory or what, but I remember hearing something a while back that basically they think that there was a prime species that basically populated the whole fucking universe, which is why all of these other species like Klingon, like Romulan and Vulcan, all of these other things are still humanoid.
Yeah,
so
that's the progenitors.
Okay, I couldn't remember the name, but yeah, so basically they were the blueprint race, and then just everybody they have the same template, but then it just skews ever so slightly. Was that established as canon, or was that just still a theory?
It's still a theory because it got completely erased when they decanonized Discovery.
Well, fuck them.
But
So-
the thing is it also had in the episode of Next Generation where the whole thing comes out, stuff like that, where everybody has a base life form that they're made off of a blueprint. I believe in that episode of Next Generation, it was deemed implausible and therefore relegated to nothing more than story as opposed to fact. But then Discovery brought it back and explored that. And I thought Discovery in its last season was doing a great job of exploring the progenitors and that blueprint for all humanoid life. So fuck you, Paramount. Still going to pay for you and use you and whatnot, but stop fucking with Star Trek.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. How fucking I think mostly was Kathleen Kennedy, how she completely fucked Star Wars. They decanonized most of the extended universe, and they've been slowly recanonizing it. Which, like, why? Like, I was not aware. So, do you know who Darth Bane is?
I love Darth Bane.
I was not aware that he appeared in the fucking Clone Wars. I didn't know that. I stumbled across this clip randomly where Yoda met him, or a version of him. And I'm like, I have been wanting a Darth Bane movie for fucking a decade at least.
I want a Revan movie.
I would love to see Revan. I would love that. And the thing is with Darth Bane, I don't need the whole trilogy. If there's anybody listening, watching, whatever, Darth Bane created the rule of two. There was a Jedi Sith full ass war. There were Sith academies. And Darth Bane eventually he realized the nature of the Sith is to backstab. So having an order is actually it's a detriment to them, because you're going to have like 20 lesser Sith take down one really fucking powerful one because they had the numbers game. So that's why he created the rule of two. As he puts it, and I fucking love this, one to embody the power, the other to crave it. Now, he destroys the Sith Order and picks his apprentice in the very first book. The next two books is just about his journey with his apprentice, and she eventually will challenge him. I don't need those stories. I want the one. I don't give a shit if you don't make the other movies, but I want to see Darth Bane's initial story and him destroying the Sith Order. That would make a phenomenal... You know what? It does actually not even a movie. Give me a miniseries. Because a miniseries, you can tell the story better.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, no, I would love... Honestly, I would love to see... I would love to see a show that actually... Because the video game did. The video game followed, and I think that would make a great show, a great TV show. You can get several seasons out of that,
And I would also love to see...
And tell a good story.
I would also love to see Darth Nihilus, which has been recanonized. And I know that he was recanonized because he's actually in the murals on Exegol. He was very subtle, but when Kylo Ren gets to Exegol, there's murals of ancient Sith there, and Darth Nihilus is among those. Once again, for those of you who are not aware, Darth Nihilus has been so consumed by the dark side, he does not have a physical body anymore. Honestly, his entire spirit is attached to his mask. This motherfucker consumes the life force of planets.
Yeah. So start making shows that everybody wants to see and ones that nobody wants to see, like Skeleton Crew.
I don't even know what when I saw the trailer for Skeleton Crew, it looks like it almost takes place like in our world, and then they travel. That's what it looked like to me.
In a way. I mean, there are parts about Skeleton Crew that I like. I like the fact that Jude Law's character is a Force user, but he is neither Jedi nor Sith.
Okay.
So my thing is like, who trained him? And if he's not trained, then did he train himself? Because it's just one of those things that it's like, it's very interesting. But then you have the crew, which is kids. And again, I get it. It's cool. It makes for a great story. Well, an okay story. But it's one of those things. It's like, if I wanted to sit down and watch a kid's show, I'd sit down and watch a kid's show like Phineas and Ferb or something like that. But I'm watching Star Wars. I don't want to watch something about, especially when none of these kids are fucking Force users or have anything really to do that would make no impact on anything. They're just a bunch of kids that went fucking out in the woods and stumbled across the fucking ship that activated a fucking droid, and the ship fucking took off and broke out of a fucking, planet's, disguise. There you go. You got the whole fucking show. Nobody needs to watch it now. I will watch the rest of it just because I just want to see what the fuck happens and be like, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was with the last couple seasons with The Walking Dead. I was long checked out, but it got to a point that I'm too deep invested and I have to see the ending. And honestly, I was more pissed off after seeing the ending because it was just a backdoor pilots for the spinoffs we didn't ask for.
Yeah. No, I've only seen the first season of Daryl Dixon, which I love Norman Reedus. I think he's great. I think that part for him that they even created for him, it's just phenomenal. But they went into how he got over to Europe, but again, it's like I don't honestly find it all that believable, given all the shit that fucking Daryl has gone through in all the seasons of The Walking Dead. It's just one of those things that it's like. And now the second season is the Book of Carol. It's like, and I love the character. I love the actress. Melissa McBride is just fucking phenomenal. Yeah. But it's like one of those things that it's like, can we let these characters rest? I want Daryl and Carol to have like the happy ending. I just want them to be like, okay, whether they remain friends, whether they get together, whether they do, I just want them to be like, okay, we're out here doing our thing. We're killing zombies. That's all you need to know. We survived and we're just going to keep doing our thing. I would love that. Just leave it at that. As far as the Rick and Michonne shit and the fucking Negan and Maggie, fuck Maggie. I fucking hate her. I fucking hated her since the fucking second fucking season. Oh my God. If they're going to fucking hit anybody in the fucking head with a ball bat, it should have been fucking Maggie. Hate her. Absolutely hate her. And she makes things fucking worse. With that being said, I mean, the actress is phenomenal to make me actually despise a character that much, whether it's her intention or not.
Yeah.
But it gets to be one of those things that it's like, I don't need Negan going up. I would love to see a continuation of Negan if they didn't turn him into a fucking pussy.
Yeah, he lost all of his charisma.
And then I don't give a shit about Rick and Michonne. I don't. I really don't.
I did want to see that, and most like we still haven't finished that miniseries. We just kind of keep getting sidetracked into something else. But I do still want to finish it, and it's more. I get it. They wrote him off because Andy Lincoln didn't want to be gone from home like 9 months out of the year. I understand that. Totally get that. But he still had a story to tell. But the problem with Rick and Michonne is the same problem that I had with Daryl as a character. Again, I do love the character. I love Norman Reedus. I think he's awesome. But they took so fucking long to develop him as a character, I quit caring. And I feel like they missed the hype train for Rick and Michonne. If you were going to do that, you should have done it probably while the original show was still airing, not 2 years later. We don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah. It's like,
it took them too long.
This guy, I forgot about him.
Exactly.
If you want to do a show, follow Eugene.
Honestly, that could be watchable because Eugene, he's so cringe, but also kind of endearing at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we get so far with him, and we run into Princess and, everybody else. But it's like one of those things that it's like, I want to know what fucking Eugene did before, the fall of mankind. I mean, seriously, what did he fucking do?
The funniest thing that my observation in regards to Princess which I really do like her character, and I like that she was kind of crazy, but she actually had a good grip on it, like how she would fucking talk to other people, but she could control it, like she could behave in front of people. But when I met her, we're like what 10-ish years into the zombie apocalypse right here, and she still has pristine hot pink clothes. How? Like
stonewash, man. She goes down that just washes right there in the river.
Like I'm looking at this like, yeah, the hot pink matches her personality, but like nobody's had a washing machine in 10 years. Get the fuck out of here.
But yeah, no, it's like, again, stop giving people shows they don't want to fucking see. Give them shows they want to see. I mean, it's not that difficult. I mean, think about it. The more shows you make that nobody wants to see, less money you're going to fucking make. Get it, people.
Look, I'm gonna slight pivot again, but it's literally the same thing as like what happened with Warner Brothers and how they try to micromanage like the DC movies and everything. They mandated the theatrical release of Justice League to be under 2 hours because he wanted to flip it, sell more tickets, make more money. But then it's like the problem with that theory is that you cut out so much. The story was so disjointed. Deadpool and Wolverine is proof. If you give the fans what we want to see, we will watch it. We don't give two fucks how long or short it is. Just give us what we want to see. And Deadpool and Wolverine is proof positive of that. Hell, there's a lot of people who will argue that the Snyder cut of Justice League was that. There's a split base on that. And I understand that because I think Snyder does miss the mark on some of his characters. But it's a much more coherent story.
Oh, it's so much fucking better. So much fucking better. I mean, I sat back and watched, the Schneider cut and was like, this is what I was fucking missing out of, the theatrical release.
Yeah.
So.
And this, once again, I believe I've said it on here before. The Snyder cut, the nightmare scene is proof that Jared Leto was not the problem. The problem was either Warner Brothers, probably Warner Brothers, or it was the people writing for the original Suicide Squad movie. Because in the nightmare scene where he's Joker with the long hair, he was so fucking good as the Joker.
I still think he's a shit Joker.
I loved him in that scene. The way he's antagonizing Bruce and everything.
Well, the antagonizing, yeah, but I don't know. And let's put it this way: I'm not much of a fan of fucking Jared Leto, whether it becomes his fucking music or his acting.
I'm okay with that.
he's honestly, I thought his Joker was fucking absolute trash. That scene, yeah, it was good. It was a good scene, but Leto, God, just absolute. He took that fucking role and shit all over it.
But also, we were all very skeptical when Affleck was introduced as Batman. But honestly, I'm still to this day surprised at how well he pulled it off. Even it's just the older, grizzled, jaded Batman. And even in that scene, even in the nightmare scene, he's talking about Harley Quinn. He's like, she told me, like, and when I kill you, and make no mistake, I will fucking kill you. I'm like, yeah, Batman's not supposed to kill normally, but like, honestly, I love this.
I actually liked Affleck. I thought he was a better Bruce Wayne than he was Batman, but I thought his Batman portrayal was actually really good. So,
and it's funny because I know we talk we, and I say we as in, just the internet fans, all that shit. We talk about all these actors and how well they portray the dichotomy. Like Christian Bale, he wasn't a great Bruce Wayne. I did like his Batman. Tobey Maguire, phenomenal Peter Parker. Spider-Man left something to be desired, although I blame that on the writers because they didn't make him quippy enough. Andrew Garfield, absolute his Spider-Man, but his Peter, And like Tom Holland, I feel like struck a very good balance between the two.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of people will swear by Michael Keaton. You know what? I'm not even mad at it. Like, honestly, I think he does a good job with both sides of the character, which I also loved seeing him come back in the Flash movie. That was so fucking good. But so yeah, we get to see Pattinson. Pattinson's Bruce Wayne sucked. I don't think that's really up for debate. However, I do think that we as a fans need to take that into context because he's a young Batman. He doesn't even really have his Batman mastered. So of course he doesn't have his work-life balance together yet. So maybe he'll get better. I hope he gets better, but I still maintain that he's a good Batman. And the reason I say that he's a good Batman is because Batman, most of the movies have not done a good job of depicting this. Batman is an angry person. And when you look at Pattinson's fights, he is using these fucking guys as therapy. He is beating the absolute holy hell out of them for no fucking reason.
Yeah, no, I have to agree on that. I could not stand Pattinson's portrayal of Bruce Wayne. But his Batman, I mean, yeah, it's still lacking. But again, you got to remember that at this stage in the Batman, he's still progressing. He's still, he's still feeling out exactly who he is as, as Justice. So,
yeah. And then there's a couple of scenes where, especially toward the end, like he gets jumped and he gets caught, gets his ass whooped in a couple of times. He should not be getting his ass whooped, and a more seasoned Batman wouldn't. So that speaks to his portrayal's inexperience. So I feel like that's something that fans need to take a little bit more into consideration. If you don't like Pattinson, you don't like Pattinson. That's fine. But he does nail the emotional part of Batman. He really does.
Yep. All right, everybody. That's about all the time we have for today. We want to say thank you for listening and joining us. Happy New Year again. So,
also, by the time this publishes, episode 2 of Valmont is out. So please make sure you go check that out. I will put that in the description here. YouTube, Spotify, Spreaker. I don't even know what all links he uses, what all platforms, but I will make sure to go ahead and link that below. So make sure you do check that out. Episode 2 will be live when this is published.
All right. Anyway, take care. Have a happy New Year, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one, y'all.